Welcome to the E-Show with Neil Ravin. With over 1,000 NCAA commitments, the EHL is the proven path to college. Turn it up and learn more about the college placement leader at the Division II and III levels.
Welcome to the E-Show, presented by the Penalty Box Foundation. The Foundation's mission centers around their daily motto: we take care of our own, as they help out all of those within the hockey community who've experienced a catastrophic event. Learn more at penaltyboxfoundation.org. What's going on? My name is Neil Ravin, and this is episode number 53 of the E-Show. On this week's episode, we welcome back all of the teams in the EHL and the EHLP. While there's only been 2 games played so far, the action will pick up quickly as the month progresses. The E-Crew provides a recap of the first set of games in the new calendar year and discusses some upcoming matchups to watch. We wrap up with some fantasy players that we're keeping a close eye on, but kicking things off, however, I sit down with TJ Manastersky, the head ice hockey coach at Curry College and a huge supporter of the league. I'm joined now by the head ice hockey coach at Curry College, TJ Manastersky. How's it going, Coach?
Going great. Happy New Year, Neil.
Happy New Year. Thank you for coming on. When this all started back in March, where were you at with your program?
Well, we had just, we're on the heels of a disappointing loss. Like, we had a great regular season and we lost in the playoff game at home to Wentworth, who had a terrific playoff run and played outstanding. And, we couldn't solve them that night. And after, you go through that process of sort of licking your wounds a little bit. You had higher expectations and were excited about what you thought you could accomplish. And then you go through that period of mourning. And then I guess you're just sort of coming out of that, starting to get re-energized and excited about the next step, still feeling really good about our team and our direction and, ready to take on the spring.
I wanted you to bring it up because obviously it was a tough loss. For us as a league, it was interesting to see a player against you that night go in net and make, I think it was like 50 something saves. When a player like that advances from junior to college, we're talking about Connor Carbo, of course, who played for the Lumberjacks and then went on to play for Wentworth. When you see a player like that advance, first off, how does it make you feel?
Well, as a hockey person and a hockey fan, I think that's an incredible story. I think, good on him for his play and to be able to step into a new level mid-season. Like, that's hard, right? That's hard to join any team halfway through. It doesn't matter if it's at the trade deadline and you're in the same league or whatever. I mean, the team that you're joining has developed its own being, right? Its own dynamics in the locker room and the coaching staff and everything. So you're trying to come into that situation, and there's challenges with that. And then you add the jump in level. So a lot of credit to that young man and how well he performed in a short amount of time, and he was excellent. He was excellent. So from that respect, I thought that was cool. And I think good on the league and the Lumberjacks for allowing that to happen and not, giving him the opportunity to leave halfway through. And, obviously savvy from Coach Pecora to make that move. And it was a good, so probably with the exception of our playoff game, it was all very good.
It was 56 days for everyone listening at home, to be exact. Obviously, it's just one of those things where you run into a hot goalie and it's not your night. But if you could put Jay's hat on for a second and you know that you have to bring a goalie in halfway through, what are you looking for at that time?
Well, I think it's important if you're going to do that it's somebody you're pretty confident will come in and be able to do what you want him to do. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense to bring somebody in and potentially upset the apple cart, so to speak, with your current team if they're not going to come in and produce and clearly, have an impact on your team. So I think that's the biggest thing. You want to be certain that this player is going to come in and help you get better.
And obviously these are weird times right now. I'll be the first to admit I've admitted it on the podcast with everyone that's come on. When this all went down in March, I thought a month or two later, everything would be back to normal. Things have progressed to the point where it's not normal anymore. But how I try and compare junior hockey to college is we were kind of in a similar spot. For us, we were 2 weeks away from finishing. We were trying to get to our Frozen Finals. For college, most of the conference tournaments were done. We were right there up against the NCAA tournament. And what I've asked a lot of our coaches, and I'm going to ask you is, would you rather have been in a situation like you were in, obviously a very tough loss, but your season was over? Or would you rather have won your conference championship and been right there, but not able to play in the NCAA tournament? Where would you rather have fallen?
I've considered that, and I've talked about that with some people, and certainly the season being canceled when it did is easier to swallow if you're already eliminated, because you have no skin in the game anymore.
Yep.
Right. And if you had won the championship, you've just had the elation of that accomplishment, and you're looking forward to the NCAA tournament, and to have the season canceled at that point would have been heartbreaking and crushing. What would my preference have been? I think I'd take the heartbreak crushing-ness of the season ending, and taking away the NCAA tournament, but having won a championship in our league, which is so hard to do. So although it may be a little more pain, your season ends. Listen, one team every year finishes the season with a win.
Yep.
So more times than not, you're going to end with disappointment anyway.
So let's talk about your conference for a second, the CCC, the Commonwealth Coast Conference, where the EHL has sent 125 players since the start of our league in 2013-14. Obviously, we're proud of every single one of those commits, especially proud of the ones going to your conference. Can you talk about your conference and what makes it so challenging?
Well, just the depth. I think on any given year, we've got several teams that could win, if they were put in another conference, could win that conference. And every single year, we have a few teams in the conversation for getting into the NCAA tournament. So it really is a gauntlet when you think about it. There's really no nights off. It's a grind, and that's what makes it fun and exciting. And as the product continues to get better year in and year out, and the facilities continue to get better year in and year out, it's just, the reality is that this conference is one of the best in the country right now.
And for yourself, you have past experience, obviously coaching before you got to Curry at the Division III level, but also playing. Can you first touch on your career at SUNY Oswego, and then ultimately you stayed in the SUNYAC and you started coaching at Fredonia as an assistant? Can you talk about how the SUNYAC conference helped prepare you for the CCC?
Sure. I mean, up until I moved to Boston and to Coach Curry, the only thing I knew in D3 was the SUNYAC, having played and then coached at Fredonia. And that's again, another really good conference with some great teams, very competitive, and but different. The geography is different. The towns are different. They're spread out. I didn't know how spoiled we really are here. I mean, our farthest road trip, unless it's Friday afternoon, is like 2 hours, which could turn into 4 pretty quick, which is why we were late getting a UNE one time because of the traffic getting through the city, but so the travel's different in that league. The demographics, I think, of the players are a little bit different in that league. Because they're located so close to the Canadian border, there's a lot more Ontario players that end up in those schools than probably in our league. And, but yeah, it's a great league. There's a lot of great coaches that have been around a long time. Ed Gozik that I played for, Jeff Meredith, who I worked for, and, several others in that league. And I have a lot of respect for all those programs.
And you mentioned Ontario, where you're from. Now you're in Boston. Was this always a city on your mind, or is this kind of what coaching entails, being ready to move all over potentially?
Well, that is what coaching entails. No, it was not on my radar. I had only been to Boston once in my life prior to my interview at Curry, and that was actually for a bachelor party. And so it probably wasn't the best representation of the city and everything it has to offer, but it was fun. But, it was funny. Like, we had a great thing at Fredonia. The town is great. My wife was happy. I was happy. We were scared. And, to make the move, we knew nothing about Boston, and we just took the leap. But, probably, and my wife would tell you now, like she didn't want to come at first. She was really comfortable and happy, but now it's like try to get her to leave Boston. She like forget it. Like this really New England in itself, is just incredible place to live, and it's we didn't know about it, so very fortunate that we did take the opportunity, or that I even got the opportunity. Honestly, it's incredible.
And change is hard, right? Change is tough to adjust with, and obviously you come to Curry, and for as long as the EHL has been in existence, you've been the head coach at Curry. And I remember every year that we've come with our all-star team to meet with you, you've talked about how each season you just look at taking one more step forward. How do you do that but not settle for reaching the national tournament? How do you focus on just one step forward each year?
Well, that's just what our culture is, right? So we talk about keep getting better, and we use KGB for short, and it's just about incremental gains. It's just about, can you get 1% better? I think the stats are, if you were actually to get 1% better every single day, you would improve by 37 times, by the end of the year. So it's that compounding interest idea to your development, and that's just what you focus on. We would love to win the national championship. That is absolutely our goal. It's not something we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about, doing the things we need to do today to improve, and that's just our sort of our whole mantra.
And I bring up, one step better each year. And what I've started to notice about the way that you guys recruit our league, obviously I mentioned there's 125 players that have advanced out of the EHL to the CCC, 14 of which have gone on to Curry. And there hasn't been a commit yet this year, but in the previous 7 seasons, it's 3-2-1, 3-2-1, and then 2 this past year. It always feels like the 1 or 2, obviously a few years of 3, the guys that you get are the top guys. Is that something that you guys try to focus on with our league, or is that just part of the process and you study guys as the season progresses?
Well, I think it's all of those things. I mean, I love the league, right? I love the coaches in the league. I love the attitude of the players in the league, and I love, how you run the league, like the administration behind it. Like it's so user friendly for college coaches, and it's refreshing, quite honestly. And what I also notice when you watch the league from the start of the year to the end of the year, just how much better the players and the teams get. So that the coaches are doing tremendous work developing their players. And so for all those reasons, it's an intriguing league. Now, it's opportunity too. Like we're located 7 miles from downtown Boston, our campus, and it's pretty easy for us to cover the league in terms of your time and resources. So we have the opportunity to be very thorough and to really understand the league, and because there's a lot of great players, but we can be very intentional with the ones that we think are right for us, because we can see so much, and we can talk to the coaches and do our homework. And so that's what we've tried to do.
And let's dive into it a little bit more here, because this past season you committed Ishizuka from the Rough Riders, Vanakis, who spent time with the Railers and the Avalanche in previous years, Logan Scarlatta, Alex Ochterbeck, Cody Murch, who played in our league, then went and played in another league, but now is with you. The players that you've brought in have been really, really good. But can you identify 1 or 2 that when you look back, you're going to say, I'm glad I got that player from the EHL?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm glad I got them all, because they're all great people. And that again is credit to the coaches that are working with them and the families that raise them. And that's also honestly credit to the recruiting that we're doing, that we're bringing in good people to our program. So I'm really happy to have them all. I guess if you're going to look at the statistics, and that's the easy one to point out, the first one I would mention is Zach White, who played for Applecore. He's graduated. He played pro in France last year, and I think he was second in the country in goals his senior year. He was also our captain. He was also the captain of our men's lacrosse team. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he led the nation in face-off percentage in lacrosse. So just an incredible athlete in person. And, so he's one. And then, if you look at, the 2 brothers, you can call them brothers, Alex Ochterbeck and Nick McGill Diaz, who played together in your league. And I teased them that they scored 1,000,000 points, and it feels like they kind of did. Like they had a really prolific final season in the league, but they've been able to find their way in college, and they were both league all-stars last year. So there's all of them. But I mean, even take like a Tristan Morin, who's a senior this year, who played for Coach Sorella back when he was with the Wolfpack. And here's a guy who had a really challenging final year of junior, missed a bunch of the year with a concussion, and this goes back to relationships. So I had seen Tristan play early, really liked him, and then he just disappeared because he didn't play games, and I don't know where did he go? No, kind of just forgot about him, right?
Yeah.
And then Chris Sorella calls up. He's like, "Hey, Tristan's back. He wants to play Curry," and so it kind of took the initial evaluation that I liked him, and then the word of Chris Sorella. And he came, and what an incredible addition to our program he was. Where he's going to med school next year, and he's found a way to just crush his academics and athletics and be a leader. And I could go on, with every one of the guys that came from the league, but it's those are some ones that I guess came to mind.
Whenever we come to your campus for the tours, I love how you always have a table of them ready to sit and talk to us. And I think what's so important to point out is the fact that with all the names that you just said, you only repeated EHL teams once with Miguel Diaz and Alex Ochterbeck, which just shows again how you guys focus on the entire league. I mentioned the Avalanche, I mentioned the Rough Riders, you mentioned the Apple Corps. There's a Junior Flyers alumni in there. Obviously, it helps with your recruiting that we have a lot of the showcases right here in your backyard. But recruiting's different this year. How has recruiting been impacted for you? Are you allowed to go out? Does the CCC allow you to go out? Does Curry College allow you to go out and in-person recruit?
Yeah, fortunately, I am allowed, and I've been out quite a bit, and so my assistant coach Mikael Bryan has been out quite a bit as well, and but you are restricted a little bit, right? It's harder to see some of those Philly and Connecticut teams than it is the teams in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. It seemed like early on we were going to like different New Hampshire rinks every 2 days, but yeah, no, I think that it has been impacted. It has been challenging, and that's where I think the relationships with coaches matter a lot. And again, you can do a lot of recruiting, with your eyes, and you can also do a lot of recruiting, as Eric Lang at AIC says. I'm not going to steal his quote, but recruiting with your ears and doing your homework. And it's a combination of those things.
Can you go into more depth about that? Is that through phone calls? Is that through speaking to coaches? What do you hear that could stand out to you?
Well, what I like to try to find out is this person passionate about hockey?
Okay.
Are they somebody who is a learner? Like, are they capable of learning, and do they want to learn? Are they receptive to that? So do they have this sort of growth mindset and a passion for the game? And if they have those things, then I'm pretty sure that we can develop them and they can keep getting better, right? And whereas like you take a Zach White, for example, like, yeah, he graduated senior season, 22, 23 goals, second in the country in goals. But in his like sophomore season, I think he had 1 goal. So it's not always a straight line to success, and you have to have the right mindset to get there. And so that's the big one, for me when we're talking and recruiting with our ears.
And I want to continue on this path because it's such a big topic this year. Because, like I said before, I think for many of us, we thought that when this all hit in March, it was going to be something that we kind of worked through and was going to be gone and over with. And even throughout the summer, numbers had started to decrease, and it seemed like things were getting better. But obviously, flu season and a surge has made it more difficult. And now we're in a spot where for college first, every single class gets another year of eligibility, which then the trickle down effect that has on us at the junior level could be huge. So let's first talk about your team. How many conversations have you had with your players about, I guess you could say first and foremost, the seniors? Are you coming back?
Sure. I mean, all of them, right? You start with the seniors, you figure out what their options are and what they're thinking about. and then you go to the juniors, and you see, because you do want to have an idea of what's coming down the pike, a year or two out. Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, and I think we're fortunate at Curry that we have some really interesting master's programs
Mhm.
that our guys can take advantage of and play their fifth year. And for those guys, that's nice, but that's not always the case. We've got a couple that are already taking grad school. They've taken every course there is to take. There's no more
Yeah.
school for them. They're going to move on. And then others, there's a lot of factors. There's, just because you want to come back doesn't mean that it's in the cards financially for you. And or listen, some of these guys, they're 20, 21 years old when they come. By the time they're seniors, they're just mentally ready for the next chapter of their life.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine, and it's a personal decision. So you're having those open conversations. You're navigating that together. My priority is to those guys first, and to see that through. We've spent, sure, 4 years together, but prior to that, probably 5 years when you talk about the recruiting process to get them. So you develop these bonds and these relationships with each other, and they've been a part of a lot of success in our program. So the first priority is get them squared away, and then figure out what's next. And I guess leading from there is where that presents challenges for junior hockey players, that because quite honestly, for some college coaches, it's hard to know exactly what it is that you need for next year, even still.
Have you had to say that to any players that you're recruiting, that I'm interested in bringing you in, but I simply don't know yet?
Yeah, I mean, I do have a pretty good handle for the most part, and we don't, we're in a situation where we don't need a lot, because we
Yeah.
do have a few guys that will be returning. So we're pretty targeted with our recruiting right now. But yeah, I mean, that's part of the conversation for sure, because there's a big difference between, hey, I need 2 forwards or I need 4 forwards.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference uh, in how you approach things. So it's a very real conversation, I think. And I just think the best way is to be completely transparent with it.
And I know you haven't had to do this before. Earlier in the podcast, I had you put on Jay's hat from Wentworth for a second. So now let's have you put on a junior hockey coach's hat. And you walk into a locker room that has 12, 13, 14 age out players who are uncommitted right now and maybe nervous.
Sure.
What's your message to them to try and, emphasize, be patient throughout this process?
I mean, I think patience is important, understanding the realities of what's happening. At the same time, I wouldn't pass up a good thing. So if you have a school, like a bird in hand, so to speak, an opportunity to play somewhere that you're happy with the school, it fits your family's needs financially, academically, location, and all, whatever your personal priorities are, and the hockey piece is exciting to you, and it's a coaching staff that you think will create a good environment and help you get better, and they believe in you, then I don't think this is the year that you slow play that from a player standpoint,
Yeah, for
honestly,
sure.
because the supply and demand of it all is that it's hard for players every year. This year it's harder.
Yeah, we have 38 commits so far. Um, in a regular, normal type year, I'd love to get to 150 for our league. I think if we get to 100 or 115, that would be a heck of an accomplishment. But
Hmm.
obviously, every single one of these that comes through, we're going to take a lot of pride in. But now, as we continue to look towards the future, I've tried to keep track of what every different school and conference is doing. Have you been allowed to skate with your program, and how much have you been able to do?
I mean, I think we're fortunate at Curry. Like, we might have had one of the best situations in the country in the fall semester, and we practiced 5 days a week. And yeah, there were some phased in protocols in terms of
Yeah.
some small groups and things we had to do locker room wise and so forth to make it safe. But we practiced, we got better. The attitude was terrific. We're excited and ready to go. I'm really proud of our guys that we made it through the entire semester with 0 positive tests, and we get tested every week. Every student and coach gets tested every week, and that will increase. Hopefully, if we get to play some games, which we're still planning to do. So we're one of the few conferences that is, and so I think our guys did a great job, and we were very fortunate to have the support of our institution and our athletic department. We've probably the best AD in D3 hockey with Vinny Ruzioni, so we're in a good spot for sure.
And I don't want to go too far behind the scenes because I know you guys are working on it with the conference. Is the conversation focused on the number of games, or is it focused on just simply playing if we can?
I'm not really sure exactly what that conversation is like at the president level. Like that,
Okay.
This decision is going to be made by the presidents of the colleges of the Commonwealth Coast Conference. And we've been told they're going to make a decision here in mid to late January. And, we have schedules made up, different types of schedules. And, we're as a group, as our team and as a group of coaches in our league, we're preparing to start playing games in February. And, we're just waiting for the green light.
I'm sure you're anxious waiting to hear that word too. All the while, you've launched your own podcast. Can you talk about that a little bit? And was that something that you always wanted to do?
I had, maybe flirted with the idea in my brain. I've actually relatively new to even listening to podcasts. It's probably only been a year and a half since I got into it, and I really enjoy them. And when the pandemic hit last year, I just thought, you know what, let's just give this a shot. And I sort of recruited a couple of my close friends for nice, comfortable first couple episodes. And it just, I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. I was meeting some great people, and it created opportunities to connect with some of my own players and recruits who listened. And then, we have new things to talk about. So much good came out of it. But it is funny, like listening to some of the earlier episodes now, I kind of cringe. I'm like, I just think, like anything, you get better at it. But It's been so much fun to do it. And, I envision continuing.
Yeah, that's how I feel. We're up to, this is episode 53. So it's pretty crazy to see how it's come. And for yourself and all the other college coaches that have been so willing to come on the podcast, I'm very appreciative, because to me, just to have you come on and speak about how you feel about the league is huge for us. And obviously the disappointing part in this year is we were supposed to play. Our all-star team was supposed to play Curry. We had, for the past 2 years, come and just toured the campus. And then this was going to be the year that we finally did play a game also, but we already have a date set for next year. And I'm banking on it happening right now. So we're looking forward to that. I appreciate you coming on, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed for you, that you guys get the chance to play games also here in the near future.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for having me on, and kudos to the league for being able to adapt on the fly here, provide an experience for your players organizations to keep playing, as challenging as it is to, as we just mentioned, to try to find opportunities in college next year. At least your league is playing, right? And these players have the chance to showcase themselves. We're in a lot of places throughout the continent here that they don't. So I think that's a credit to you. It's a credit to the league. And, I'm excited about the second half kicking off here real soon. Be back in the rinks. Probably see you in person soon.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, man.
All right.
Thanks again to TJ Manastersky for coming on the podcast this week. As I mentioned towards the end of that interview, we've been trying to play his college program for a while now. We're going to finally get that game in next season. We actually have that date confirmed and locked in already, but we'll get to that in the 21-22 season. But with that, let's bring in the E crew. And guys, hockey's back. That's all we can ask for.
Hockey's back, and the Lumberjacks Hockey Club is back. Welcome back, Jim Mosso and the Jacks. Jimmy and the Jacks.
Well, I don't know if Jimmy would say he's back yet because of back-to-back losses to start.
Yeah, but they're playing, so playing's better than not playing right now.
Yes, this is
Somebody
true.
sing the Jimmy and the Jacks song, because I can't right now.
It's Jimmy and the Jacks.
I need you to get a tiny bit closer to your microphone tonight, Brittany.
No.
Raise the volume up a little bit.
What?
No, I'm literally not yelling today. I got everyone. Headphone users do not have to beware today. I'm too tired to yell.
So let's start making our way around the horn here. That was the first voice that you heard was Jeff Mills. Jeff, I'm offering another Wizards game to you soon, just so you know.
Ooh.
I don't know what the exact date yet, but as you can imagine with the scheduling, things are changing by the minute.
Quite viciously.
Yes. The next voice you heard is Brittany Hart. Obviously, you guys don't know this because we're dropping it on Thursday, but we're recording this podcast probably later than we ever had before. So she has the pillow going and is already ready for bed. So
I'm laying on my beanbag I got for Christmas.
yes, it's 9 Eastern time the night before this drops, so it's Wednesday night. And then Kyle, save the best for last. Kyle McKenna. Kyle, that jersey is awesome.
Buffalo. Oh, it's US. I was like, at first I thought that was a Buffalo Bills jersey. So I couldn't see the whole thing. Look at that.
And what year was that, Kyle?
2018.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Canada won that year, but
Yes.
not unfortunately, but USA did not win.
That's right. What have you done for me lately? What have you done for me lately? Last night.
The USA hockey victory, like, it's just so cool because to me, what makes this year even more special is like we watched it. We would have watched it in a normal year though too. But this year, what else was taking place last night? I get that there was a few NBA games, but if you're a hockey fan, there's nothing else to watch. So like the NHL fan is watching that also, and obviously we're 4 Americans, so we're biased, right? Because of the result of the game. But I think even if they had lost that game, I would have been pretty pumped just for the fact that like all hockey eyes were only on that the other night.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you went on social media last night, it was crazy. After the game, I was thinking that, and like you just said, I looked through and it was just USA, Canada, USA, Canada, USA, Canada, USA, Canada. Could use a little more of that today with all the riffraff going on out there. But oh, what a crazy! Seems like 2020's rolled in.
You had guys in the pros tweeting about it, right?
So that was
Yeah,
so
yeah.
right.
And guys who played at the junior levels, whether it was at our level and beyond, just talking about it. So I think it was a nice, I don't want to say distraction, but it was something cool, like you said, Neil. So,
I mean, the year that Cade and Primo played is definitely the year that I'd love to get back and have them win gold. I'm pretty sure because they got
16.
silver. They got silver that year. I think it was 18 or I think it was 19. And I want to say it was Kako from the Rangers that scored the game winner.
Oh
for Finland
yeah,
in that. Like
Cap-
just like
oh.
crazy to think about. Like a player that played in our league is playing against a kid of like that caliber. Caden though is going to make it eventually to the NHL. I think it would help if he wasn't stuck behind Carey Price.
Carey Price.
Carey Price is somewhat good at that position. So
somewhat, a little.
Wayne, and he's getting old. He's getting injured.
did you see though what was really cool? Obviously, neither goaltender last night played in the EHL. Would have loved for them to, but Spencer Knight is a first-round pick for the Florida Panthers, and Levy on the other end was a 7th-round pick for the Florida Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and they got Bobrovsky signed to the 10-year, 50. He's still. That's what everyone's saying. They're like, Bobrovsky still got 10 years, or was it 5 years? 5 years, $10 million a year.
A ridiculous contract. Like ridiculous contract.
But you know that he's probably going to get bought out, and that'll probably be Spencer Knight's net with Levy as the backup. That'll be interesting to see down in Sunrise
That's kind of
Florida.
funny.
Hey Justin, how are you?
Yes.
Right. Hey, hi.
Down in Sunrise, Florida.
Not
Lots of
your
good
goalie.
goaltending.
not your goalie. Not my goalie.
It was fun to watch, though. Like I said, having that be the only hockey that was on TV made it pretty special. But it's not the only hockey that's back. The EHL is back, so let's start making our way around the E-Show.
It's time for this week's segment of Around the E-Show.
Around the E-Show is brought to you by the Junior Hockey Podcast, your home for junior hockey news, knowledge, and nonsense. Check them out at tjhpodcast.com.
And we have played games since the last podcast, as I mentioned to you guys before we wrapped up last week. We've only played 2 games, and now I'm going to ask my favorite podcast question, and I get to ask it twice. First, who are the Seacoast Spartans?
Woo! That's a loaded question.
They had lost 8 straight, and then they come back from holiday break and they win 7-2 and 9-5 against the Lumberjacks.
They said, "New year, new me."
they've been listening to us. So like, hey, we want to join in this "Who Are We" segment part of the podcast. Although I think we filtered them in a little bit.
I think they stole the award from Brittany I'm So Heartless for the Holiday Cheermeister. They're this year's Holiday Cheermeister, the Seacoast Spartans.
Looking good, boys. Looking good. Up in Exeter, as Kyle McKenna.
Oh my god.
I miss Exeter. I miss it.
I miss
Fill in
Exeter.
for
I miss
anybody.
Exeter.
Let's go.
I miss them all.
I mean, we have to remember they played a lot of, like, when this whole season started, the New Hampshire, Connecticut teams kind of had a head start, if you will, because they were open and they could host, right? So those teams kind of jumped out of the gate and played more games. But even still, Seacoast was a first place team for a little while there. Remember that? And then they went through this lull where they were losing close games, and they went into the holiday break having lost 8 straight contests. And then they just come exploding out of the holiday break and scoring 16 goals, only one of which was an Enga for the Lumberjacks. Only one empty net. So these are legit goals. And for the Lumberjack, let's ask the question now again: who are the Vermont Lumberjacks? Because like this was a top 5 team for how long? Is this just a case of the fact that they haven't played a game since November 7th?
They haven't played a game since November 7th. It's new team. Who this?
They've had
Since last year.
And not to get into too many of their, details and whatnot, Neil, but everyone knows like Vermont was one of the toughest states with restrictions. They've been forced to move and uplift their entire program to keep playing. Kudos to Jim Masso and his organization for doing that, because they wanted to, keep playing in the season. They could have just said, hey, you know what? It's not going to work this year. We're going to bow out. But they were able to sacrifice, make a move, and here they are. But yeah, I think, they played 9 games to start the season. They went 6-3, and then they're coming back, and Seacoast might have been not the best team to start off against, because they're hungry to prove people wrong. They were 5-2 to start the season. They were up there, and then they kind of slipped as the month of December went along. So they were trying to, they were hungry to beat up on somebody, and it ended up being the Lumberjacks the last 2 days.
And you have to remember that was a playoff matchup last year. Now, who's left from that playoff matchup? I mean,
not many.
Both teams, and not many from Seacoast. Seacoast was pretty loaded with age outs also, but maybe that was a message that was discussed by Brett Trotter to his team, like, "Hey guys, we need to get some revenge." I mean, I will say this about Brett today. So Brett used to coach at Plymouth State, used to work in Waterville Valley. Like Waterville Valley is his rink, right? He like lives up there. He was like a celebrity up there today. Like everybody that walked in was like, Brett Trotter, like, what's going on? I'm like I can't even exaggerate. There were like 20 different people. I was trying to talk to him at one point, and I was like, Brett, like, I can't talk to you. Do you have too many friends?
Local A-list celeb.
Like too many friends up here.
I think he's got a new nickname. The Mayor.
The mayor of Waterville Valley. the mayor of WV.
I
mean, like, obviously, Brittany has discussed on this podcast how she wants to go up there and ski. Like, it's a long ride. Like, it's a beautiful.
Yeah, but how sick is it?
Like
up there's so sick.
The NHL bubble should have been in Waterville Valley. I'm convinced it would have been electric. And that tight little building. It's an old school barn,
the rink is not large. I will say that it's not big, but the air, just the little town. Like it's just like this little town. And like, was the trolley going today because of COVID season?
I didn't see it. No,
but like, there's this like trolley that goes around to all the hotels, then it goes up to the mountain, then it like goes to the pool, and like blah 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 blah. Yeah, and me and my sister used to rip it up, and we just bring our walkie talkies and like talk to my mom on like the walkie talkies.
I mean, already it sounds like they would have had more to do there than they did in Toronto and Edmonton. Those guys were pretty bored now that things have been released.
What's the go-to food up there, Britt?
Oh, poutine, right?
Ew.
Is it?
I don't know. They're big on the cheese curds and stuff in Vermont.
That stuff's yucky. Ew.
Not good if you're trying to get on the Peloton after, that's for sure.
Yeah,
right?
Seriously, though. Me after my
We're not
chicken
good after either.
Nuggets.
Neil and Britt, the Peloton crew.
Dude, I've been ripping the Peloton lately. It's actually incredible.
Excellent.
What was it? It was on a podcast with Rich, where
What?
he, at the end of the episode, he said, "Dust off that Peloton, Neil." I forget what he
Wow.
said exactly, but it was a ridiculous chirp.
Ouch.
Did I send just Brittany my broadcast vantage
No.
point today, or did I put it in the group text?
I think you put it in the
Nope, we
group.
did not. I don't think we got it.
You got it. You guys got to see this.
Kyle,
you
did you see it? I don't think so.
I
you got it.
got it.
Brittany got it. So you texted directly to Britt and not the rest of us. How dare you, Commissioner?
Well, did I?
How
I
dare
sent you the smashed glass.
Oh, yes, you sent us that.
Literally,
That
the
was-
first shot of
Oh.
warm-ups, you just hear boom, and I'm like, oh god, I know what it is.
And then you like immediately texted us. We're like, so we're recording late tonight because there's gonna
And
be
then
delay."
and then there was 76 penalty minutes per team, so that didn't help the
They were
cause.
just getting to know each other. That's all.
Right, they're just getting to know each other, become friends, establish some friendships off the ice, on the ice. It's whatever. It'd be like that.
I just sent it in our E-Crew group text.
Oh my holy god! What
So
is that?
I look to my right, and I'm like, so the puck is in that area, and I'm like, the fans at home have no idea that I can't see anything, but we're
Is
gonna
that
keep
the
going.
roof?
That's the roof hangs down there,
Oh,
and then
One
like
of those.
a tight little box. So I'm trying to find a lane through the camera guy's armpit to see if I can see if the puck goes in. And it's like,
Really?
oh my god. And I felt like Jeff for a little bit on while I'm calling the game, because obviously I have. We'll get to fantasy. We always try and tease it a little bit early. I obviously have David Raduzzi on my team, and
Oh,
I'm like,
man.
TUFF.
I'm like, they're winning. They're tied. They're winning. They're tied. They're losing. Now they're definitely losing. Now the game is over. I'm
Oh,
like,
no.
Oh my god.
Negative. Now I'm in negative point territory. No.
Let's.
man.
I should calculate that. So for those that are
Oh,
listening,
you might not want to, Neil. I don't know.
for those that are listening, we're going to release the updated fantasy standings after next week. It's
Wait,
only been
What
two
an
what?
games.
update.
It's fair. There's only been 2 games.
There's only been 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, fast facts.
I mean, we all have like a
Pish
point.
posh.
We have like a
Yeah.
point.
I got 2 goals today, one on the power
Oh,
play.
Actually, Brittany got a lot of points. She got Paul Fine-Lease.
Yeah.
I
And
we
he had a
helped
goal
her get that. You're
yesterday.
welcome, Britt.
Right. So I had
Oh, yeah,
3
he's got a lot of
goals
points.
So-
and
so
1 on the power play.
How
today,
many
so-
How many points do you get if your player takes a 5-minute major and then the team
Ooh.
against them scores 2 major power play goals to take the lead?
5.
It's positive points.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, reverse
eh,
effect. Reverse effect.
Right. You know what?
I don't know about that, but yeah, we'll go with that, Britt. Sure.
So I had
It's okay.
42 saves.
Oh wow.
Times
You're really doing out
22.
the math.
But he
Don't ask
gave
me to
up.
do it.
Was he in net for all 9 goals?
No, there's an empty netter in there.
Oh, okay.
There's
So
an
8.
Enga.
And Enga.
Ooh.
I got 0.4 points.
Nice.
Oh, so you didn't get negative. I mean,
Nice.
that's not terrible.
I mean, Jeff.
hey, hey, but 0.4 is good, especially
Hey, we gained a yard.
oh wait, actually, you and Kyle are separated by like 0.8, so technically that was a big swing, Neil.
It's kind of a big deal between Neil and
That's
I
a very
right now.
big deal. How dare you?
But those are the first 2 games back. And there's a lot of other games coming up this weekend. I know one in particular that I'm watching for because I'm Neil from the North, and it doesn't involve a South matchup, ALO. I'm watching for the Warriors versus Chiefs because the Warriors play the Wizards the day that we're dropping this podcast. The Wizards team that they've swept so far this year, they've won both games against, which is who knows what that means. Who are the Wizards? Next question. And then the Warriors play back-to-back against the Chiefs. And as we talked about on this podcast, I want to say who are the Chiefs, but who are the Chiefs going to be when they get into the Central Division? And I don't know. I don't know. Are they going to slide right in and stay where they're at, in third, fourth position in the standings? Or are they going to excel? Or are they going to decline a little bit with maybe the competition's harder for them? I don't know.
We don't know.
No team that had to
Wait, where
relocate.
is this game and when?
Chel-
Can I have the game
Springfield?
details, please?
Chelmsford on Friday at 11:30.
That's that
Won't be
second
able to
rink
make
that,
it.
Is that the second
That's
rink
Rich.
that they
That's
played
Rich
last year?
DiCaprio's home rink. He'll tell you every time he walks in the place.
That's Stoneham Ice Arena?
No. You're thinking of
No, Chelmsford is where Rich played like as a high school child. So he like loves to say like, "Up Chelmsford, back to the home."
God.
There's
That's not how he sounds, but
There's
sorry,
a
Rich.
banner in there.
I'm gonna
that
get a
says-
text right now.
Yes, there's a banner that says
Oh, he
like,
can hear us recording.
Like probably,
I
tapped
would-
my computer.
I
He's-
wouldn't put anything past him, Jeff.
Nope,
He's
I
tapped
wouldn't.
in. He
texted me randomly. I'm like, Rich, are you at my house? Where are you? Are you watching me? What's going on?
he just taps into the meeting ID and all of a sudden he's here.
We love you, Rich. We love you, buddy.
But that's one
entertained.
matchup I'm looking forward to. Whoever wants to go first, a matchup you're looking forward to between now and the next podcast release date.
I'm gonna need to look at the schedule. Please give me 1 second.
Can I throw in a wrinkle?
Yes, you can. Do it.
If the playoffs started today, the Chiefs and Wizards would play each other.
Weird matchup.
That'd be a really weird matchup.
I don't know why
Three-game
it's
series.
weird. Why
Just
is
like
it
weird
weird?
vibes. Just like
I think it's a very intriguing matchup, and I think that team, whoever would win that matchup, could maybe ride some momentum. And am I wrong here, Neil? I believe if the playoffs started today, it'd be Chiefs versus Wizards.
You want me to? I'll confirm. 1 second.
Yes.
I think I have my game
And then
picked
I would
out.
like to hear other input other than the fact that it's weird. I guess it's weird, right?
Well, they haven't played this year. They haven't played
Right.
against
They
each
haven't
other.
played
It's-
one another.
which
Oh,
is-
yes, they did. Yeah, they did. They played each other. Did they
What,
not?
one?
Yes,
When they were
Jack
playing
Johansson
Hampshire?
scored a goal that game. I think I'm definitely correct.
That was
They
when
played one game. They played one game in Connecticut, won by the
Mhm.
Wizards
Oh.
in overtime.
They played.
Right.
And that would be the playoff
Word.
matchup, yes.
So for a weird year, I mean, that is like textbook playoff matchup for the AHL.
And didn't JP Mella just come back? That's who Neil grabbed in fantasy.
Yeah, like it was probably like early November, I want to say.
So he probably wasn't in net then.
No.
Yeah. So that makes up for a difference.
That was when the Wizards won the first 3 games of the year. And
Yes.
Freddie texted Corey, was like, "What are you doing?" And Corey's like,
This is how you're supposed to start.
what do you mean? What am I doing? He's like,
This
"You don't-
isn't Wizzy
you don't-
like.
You don't
Like,
start
stop.
this way."
It's like I left you the Sorcerer's Stone of how the wizardry
Oh,
goes.
yeah. This did not
do
just
some
happen.
Mary and Joseph.
Epic, Jeff. I love it.
Round him up.
I never even read the Harry Potter books. Watched some of the movies, but I will be honest, I never
the books
got
are
into the Harry Potter
fantastic.
books. Yeah.
I'm
Those
sure
are-
everyone at home is shocked by this. I don't
I just
read
remember the
much.
Sorcerer's Stone. Brick, come on.
Dude, I can't.
No time.
I literally don't have time to read. Honestly, like if I read, it's like when we're doing read aloud on like kindergarten Zoom. That's all the reading that I get.
Yeah, and
Oh.
that takes the life out of you too. So then you don't really kind of makes reading not a leisure activity.
Today it was a book about worms. So
That sounds enthralling. That sounds
right.
Actually, that
Right,
actually,
yeah,
that sounds
well-
classic.
It was boring. If anyone wants to know what game I'm looking forward to, it is the
wrote up.
or I thought you were gonna say something. Sorry, Jimmy
Oh.
and the Jacks and Wolf Bite.
Saturday or
That's
Sunday?
okay.
I don't care either one.
Ooh.
It doesn't matter.
At Laconia or at Waterville Valley? Is it a
No,
home
they're
and
both at the Ville, which was the Wolves.
Oh.
Wolves with a V. The Wolves' old home rink.
Yes, very good.
Ooh.
point.
Fun fact of the day. So
Ooh.
looking forward
Save
to
that
that.
for a trivia question.
Yeah, facts. All right. You know what? LJ Newell, come on. He better start one day and he better catch a dub.
Yeah, and you got Ricard Zelensky.
And I have John Warrenly. I got a few. I got I don't know, 50, whatever. I can't even begin to try to say his
Dennis
name.
Danilov.
Yep, him. He's on my team. I just no.
Old Denny.
All right.
Danilov.
I got a few Wolves. So I'm ready to go for that one. Fire me
Me
up.
too.
I
What up,
won't be
Donnie
the-
Feldman? Let's keep it going, buddy.
Ah, Donnie.
Donnie!
Donnie.
Neil,
Who's
did
got-
you go yet? Sorry.
What?
Did you go yet with your matchup or no?
No, Neil's like in his
Yeah.
own country right now.
Chiefs Warriors.
Oh.
I started.
Oh,
this.
yeah.
I started this
Sorry,
segment, Brittany.
sorry.
Sorry.
I was so
All right.
excited about my future playoff matchup.
Oh yeah, that's how we got into that. Anyways, what's your pick?
I'm actually intrigued for this weekend. Railers Seahawks.
That's a good
Hmm.
one. two middle of the pack
A
teams.
couple of teams that I think they both want to prove something, and two teams that are hungry. I expect a good matchup there.
Ooh,
Is
how
it
about
on Cape? Is it at the WIC, the Worcester Ice Center? Not to be confused with the BIC.
don't ever confuse it with the big.
That
No,
one,
don't
that one is
ever.
on Cape. Is that Tony Kent?
Oh my God! You know what?
Toby
Wait,
Keats.
what day is this on? My schedule is all cuckoo.
I think that's a Friday.
Oh, come on! I want to go.
I mean, one that
But-
kind of jumps out to me too is Jack Spartans again.
Okay,
seriously,
keyword
think
being
about it.
again.
Think about it, because the Spartans just beat up on Jimmy and the Jacks 2 games. Is there confidence down? Can they come back?
Are they gonna hit the 100 pin mark?
Oh my God.
Question.
That too. There's definitely some good blood boiling between the two of them, and they're gonna continue
Boiling is the key word.
as they fight for the Granite Cup later on. And we haven't talked about that yet. But
Yeah, very cool.
Like, we love you, Rich, but read my article before you start chirping me about what the Granite Cup is for. He's like, so whoever wins the playoff championship gets the Granite Cup in the North Division? No, it's something separate from that. This is just something separate that they're trying to add some sizzle to it, and I like it. Like put it this way: if you're gonna play the same team 10 times, make a few games mean something.
right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
What does BC?
Any hockey league at that level does this. I
Yeah,
mean, that's ridiculous to question that.
What does BC call the season that begins with the Beanpot? They call it trophy season because they want to win the Beanpot, the Hockey East, and the national
Isn't
tournament.
DiCaprio a Boston guy? Like,
Yeah, but
he's a Northern guy.
he wants me to come up with a name for a mass one. It's like, you guys have 7 teams. You don't need sizzle.
No, you got it.
A match showcase would be kind of dope.
Yeah.
Have there been talks about it, Neil, or no? Or was that,
There have been, but like
Yeah.
the toughest part, and I said this on the junior hockey podcast earlier this week, is like
It's not that easy.
four teams isn't bad for in terms of like getting by and making sure you follow the safety protocols and you clean afterwards, this and that. When you get that number up 6, 7,
you're doubling.
like 7
That's a
teams
lot.
in a year like this, we're talking about. I'm doing math, Brittany. Can you see the steam going? We're talking about over 150, 60, 70 players. You know what I mean?
Yikes.
Like,
Yeah, that's-
Lots of cleaning supplies.
So I mean, like, not that we're afraid to do it by any means, but we know that in mass, like, you don't have to feel like I just played this guy yesterday. You can mix things up enough, and hey, maybe in the future they can start something like this. I told the New Hampshire guys.
I think it'd be great. Yeah, we could do more of those. No,
I told the New Hampshire guys, I go, just so you're clear, like, if one of you backs out of this, someone's gonna want in. And the Granite Cup just has to take place in New Hampshire. Doesn't have to include all New
All it
Hampshire
takes is
teams.
one.
It doesn't have to include all New Hampshire
all it
teams.
takes is one.
Like, Vermont's going back to Vermont next year.
Mhm.
So maybe the 87s want to jump in. I don't know.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Big
for sure.
bus trip.
For
Mix that one
sure.
into the travel budget.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
the Hosses, maybe Pro Tech.
it's really commonplace at the Division 3 level. Like every year, I want to say it's around like this time that there's probably about 10 or 15 of them, and they're like
Oh, the codfish.
the
Oh,
codfish,
yeah.
right? Like codfish.
Love
Codfish
that
bowl.
thing.
Codfish is what last year was UMass Boston,
Wesleyan.
Wesleyan, Albertus
Fitchburg.
Madness, and Fitchburg, right? Like a cool different like setup to it. Plattsburgh hosts one every year that I think they had. Skidmore, I think, went up there. Like they do these different like cross conference type matchups that you just won't usually see, and it's a cool dynamic. So why doesn't the EHL do more? So, but as I say, with everything that we do as a league, like you have to take it one step at a time, and when you compare it to baseball, if you will, go for the single, not the grand slam. So
Right.
the single is
That's why you're president, baby. That's why you're president.
like
And Neil, honestly, like you guys have done it. Like, look at everything that we've grown in the time that like I've worked with you guys, which is since 2013, 14. So pretty much like almost the whole entire time this league's been around. We've always built on everything, right? Like the podcast, we started out we didn't really know where we were going to go with it. Then we kind of built on it. We added Kyle. Now we got sponsors. Now we're on different things. The frozen vinyls we've built every year. It's gotten better. And
Now you have
Alex
food
and I were
reviews.
talking about that today. Me and Alex Gase, a quick shout out Wentworth. We were talking about like the sponsors, like the amount of sponsors that we had before and then now, and just BioSteel.
huge.
Fuel up,
BioSteel,
people.
baby.
Fuel
Maybe.
up.
Love that stuff.
Maybe.
Oof.
Well, a few things came up this week. Should the Eastern Hockey League have paid up to the NHL and named one of the divisions after the EHL? Did you see that?
Oh, yes, I saw. There's like
What are
Honda, Liberty Mutual.
What are the 4 divisions? NHL. I got to Google.
I did see that. Is Justin texting us right now? How dare
NHL division name.
We're recording, Justin. Come on.
Got it. So the West is sponsored by Honda.
Honda, yep, because the Ducks, Honda Center.
The North is sponsored by Scotia, like Scotia Bank. The Central is Discover. Discover is a big NHL sponsor.
Yep.
And then the East is Mass Mutual. So I was like, maybe the EHL should have got in on that, or we just put EHL helmet stickers on everyone's helmets, and then it's like, boom, there it is.
Hey, you got Chipotle, Capital One, EHL. What
oh
up?
my God. Well, I got to find
Very,
the world.
very reasonable.
Although I will say, Neil,
request.
the EHL a little too close to the NHL, so that might cause confusion.
Yes,
Our
yes.
logo's different, but like
Yes.
EHL.
Did you guys see the World Juniors tweet that was like, so-and-so country sponsored by this big name brand, this country, this big name brand, America, Chipotle.
Do not bash Chip.
No, but
That's
it was like
rude.
it was
Chipper,
like
baby,
it was like
chipper.
big car manufacturer, big industrial something, big food chain. Like
Dude, I bet
So
if
American.
after a game
Yes, it
day, after like any EHL game day, the amount of those kids that go to Chip after the game.
Lots.
I have homework for you, Brittany.
Chipotle
I
is
have-
great.
What?
I have homework for you.
That's great. What,
Next-
can I go to Chip for homework?
Next league sponsor, go get Chipotle. All you,
Alright,
all you
word.
have to,
big
all
money.
you have to say is we account for 1% of your profit that you make.
What if I
So
guess Jersey
close.
Mike's?
Oh, okay.
Sure.
All right. I mean, guys, let's do it.
Brittany?
Let's get
Rebuttal?
this going.
I'm
Actually,
more
I
of
think
a
Brittany
Chip
could do it.
gal.
She probably could guess Chipotle.
She's
There's
like
not
the,
as many
I
Jersey
probably
Mike's
can't guess
around
Jersey
here.
Mike's, but
yeah, the north will be Chipotle and the south will be Jersey Mike's.
Jersey Mike's.
Or
Oh my
like
God.
Roll
Wow,
sevens, Jersey Mike's.
or Wawa. Go get Wawa.
Oh, wow. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, Wawa is-
That's
We
Wawa
got
really
like Cumberland
expanding in the South.
Farms. Like what?
Yeah.
I like Cumberland Farms.
Yeah, Cumbies is more of
Well,
a New England thing, right?
it's
not
more-
Wawa.
That was my question.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really
We
get
had some
food.
Cumbies down here, then it all closed. Now it's Quick Check Wawa.
Wasn't
Wait,
Wawa-
what's that? What's that thing? That's the Philly thing. Like I know there's Wawa in Philly, but
It's Wawa, and then now I mean Pennsylvania is so big that they have a few, but Wawa is the main thing. Like Wawa is originally.
oh, there's another one. I need to text
Yeah, it's
Abel.
like-
I'm gonna do a
there's
live
like-
text of it though.
No joke, it's like Quickie or like Sheets.
That.
Yeah, Sheets
Sheets.
is more like Western
Yeah.
PA,
With
I think.
with a Z, right?
Yeah.
There's a couple
Wait,
out there by like Pittsburgh.
Oh, I thought there was someone here. I sent or not out here in Aston out here as if I'm like in Aston live from Iceworks. I was scrolling. Sorry, this is me off the rails. Scrolling on TikTok today, and it was like how dudes from Delco / like Northeast Philly sound, and I was literally like tears were rolling down my face, and I was like, "This sounds like I might as well be in Aston. Like I'm in Aston. Like listening to this, my serotonin levels were through the roof." I was like, I feel nostalgic. I feel like I'm in Philly. This is great. I miss it.
That's awesome.
I love really lame jokes. When
we
Kyle
know.
when Kyle texted Justin and said next week you'll have to flip those standings.
Oh, I
and
just
then
saw
Justin sends the standings upside down. That
Yep.
to me is speaking of crying, laughing, Brittany, I could burst out right now.
that. That
I
is
don't-
such
what
a
are you talking
Neil.
about?
That just like explains Neil's humor too. If
Wait,
had to,
I
like,
don't
guess,
even-
That's
It's in the group text.
he
Kyle
texted
said
us.
He,
It's
he sent the
backwards.
graphic though.
The,
Upside
the
down.
graphic is flipped. It's upside down. Brittany.
Yeah.
That's the point of the
It says
joke.
loading. Chill.
Oh god.
But
I
always
see it now. Ha 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 ha.
see like it's so much funnier than that though. Like you don't have to shut me down so hard.
You
Like,
definitely think like the show. A lot of people are gonna come at my throat for this. Like The Office is funny. Show sucks. Come at my throat, people. Come at my damn throat. I hate that show. I think it's not funny whatsoever.
See,
Everyone
Anita,
and their mom is gonna be like, "Oh my god, you're like a communist." Like I might as well be like, "Oh, I hate
In
that show."
2010, The Office was the best thing ever to me.
Ugh.
Nowadays, I understand. Actually, Brittany, I'm so heartless. I get your opinion. It's a different time. It's a different generation.
Yeah. There's
Totally
more.
get it.
It's like not funny.
But Neil and
I mean, did you
Neil's the
find
one that said he
Seinfeld funny,
hasn't
Brittany?
seen The Office.
Have you ever
right?
seen
I
an
don't-
episode of Seinfeld?
I don't know, maybe like with my mom.
All the
when I was,
hockey
like,
moms
10.
out there that love you and that you're friends with, they love Seinfeld.
That was their time.
well,
Oh, I'll have to ask my mom friends next
There's-
time at the rink.
there's two things that they always
They
tell
will probably say they love Seinfeld.
because everyone has their own sense of humor, right?
They
But
will. Don't
there's-
even give me that look. It's
There's
a
two
fact.
things that I always
Right.
tell Vicky is number one, if you can't laugh at your own joke, nobody else can.
Oh my god, that's
That's
Neil's
true.
like favorite thing to say. Holy
Yes.
heck, I haven't heard that in so long.
And
Everyone wants
then
to
what I also
joke.
say is that any room that I walk into, I'm automatically the funniest person. So
No, you're not. Like
Jeff is laughing. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff, you're
I
the
just
best.
get you.
You're the best hype man that we need because I've listened to last week's fantasy segment about 14 times because I thought it was so good. And when I announced like on the standings, I said, Jeff is at so-and-so points. Kyle is at so-and-so points. After each one, you give a very subtle woo.
Woo. Yep.
Woo.
That's the PA announcer in me, I guess. I'm just used to trying to. You got to help create the environment for the crowd in the stadium.
When you work the Bruins, because whenever they announce their goals, is it written down that you have to say woo like that?
So I was just gonna. That is one of the biggest myths that people don't understand. That is from up above. I believe it's Mark Majeski, who's the creative director for the Boston Bruins.
He's
that
the
does
man.
it.
He's
He
the
is a
man.
really. Have
Like,
you seen
you-
the stuff he's dropped on Twitter
Like,
too? The stuff
Brittany
for
and Kyle,
Chara
I'll
and-
send you his contact,
He's-
or I'll send you his Twitter. I met him when he was working for BC or Northeastern, I think.
Oh, when you worked in Hockey East.
Hockey East.
Yeah,
Like, the graphic stuff this guy makes, like,
unbelievable.
I can't wrap my head around it. It's out of this world.
You gotta send them the Chara one. Did you see the it was like slides that were sliding up the other day? It was
Yeah.
like a minute long on Twitter. It was amazing.
And then
I
he
think
worked,
it's
he worked
him
at
that
Clemson
presses-
too. It's probably him.
Did he
that presses
really?
it. Yeah, he
He
worked for-
presses a button up above. So it's Ric Flair that used to do the woo, the wrestler.
That's not the PA guy.
That's not Jim Martin.
I mean, if
that
it
was not
sounds the
me.
same every time and there's different PA
Right.
people, ding
Yes,
dong.
Exactly. But everyone, I had Chris, I'm friends with Chris Wagner's mom and dad. Paul and Cindy were like, Jeff, good job on the woo. And I was like, not me, guys. Can't take credit for that. Not me.
But the timing is so perfect. Like
I know.
it's like they time it up so it sounds like the PA announcer like finishes and then like boom, they hit it.
And it's like, woo. And if you go back to my game, we the woo button, no joke, was stuck after I think Jake DeBrusque goal, the first goal. If you listen to it, I still have the recording on my DVR. It was like 5 seconds delayed because you can hear everyone going woo, and then all of a sudden, like 5 seconds later, it was like woo, and you're like, oh, what the heck just happened? Even I was in the box, and I'm like, guys, you gotta hit the button because they're gonna think it's me that's not doing it.
Could you imagine if it was like stuck, but it wasn't going off, but like mid game, they're like, we gotta get this button unstuck because if they score right now, like what's gonna happen?
Well,
And they're
imagine
like,
if it
"Jeff,
just kept
do a woo, and be like,
Imagine if it just was like woo woo on repeat.
that would be amazing.
One of my favorite scorekeepers in the league is the Wizards scorekeeper.
Oh, so it's not me. That's all.
Oh,
I said one of my favorite. One of my favorite,
Paul?
Brittany.
All right, word.
One of my
Jim.
favorite.
Is his name Jim?
Jim,
His name's
Yes, yes.
Jimbo
Brittany,
Slice?
Brittany, don't
Oh,
worry.
Jimbo
When you are
Slice.
scorekeeping, you are my favorite.
Right.
We always
Obviously.
wave back and forth and take pictures of each other. This is what you look like from this angle. And then you send it back to me from your
Right, and then I'm like, ooh, I need to go to a plastic surgeon.
Oh my
Sick.
God.
Oh god.
So Jim,
There's such thing as a
Jim,
bad mirror or bad angle, Brent. It's not always you.
yeah,
Sometimes
so
it's fishbowl. Yeah.
Jim for the Wizards is a World War II vet, a little bit of an older guy, and he'll admit it. Like he knows that he makes like a mistake a game, right? Some of the moments that I've had with him are just amazing. Like the one game when the national anthem just started blaring mid sequence, I was like, everyone's like, "Do we stop? Like, what do we do?" Like, do
They all
we
stop
put our-
playing and put their hand on their chest, like America. You're like, oh,
And
what?
then,
What's going on?
like, the worst was when the horn went off, and they're like, everyone panicked. They're like, "What just happened? Like, what just happened?"
Me at the Rangers game, like whenever that was. And Cody was like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm so sorry."
It happens in the NHL. It even happens. It does.
Yeah.
They've had that at games where they've sound the horn and people are like, "What?" And then the refs are like freaking out, like, "No, what? Oh, come on!"
You know what my favorite favorite line that gets yelled at scorekeepers in the hockey rink is?
What's that?
Stop the clock! It's like,
Oh,
dude,
yes.
it ran for 2 seconds. We're all gonna live. We're all gonna live.
Dude, I messed up the Avs clock so many times. I was seriously actually ridiculous.
That is true.
Like, the refs would start like
I gotta say,
trashing me, and I'm like,
that's difficult though.
That is.
But the
Like, to do the clock?
Rangers, the Rangers have that
That's
like
tough.
switch,
That's
right?
tough.
Dude,
Oh,
the
the
Rangers,
flick, right?
the
The flick
Rangers, they do have the button. That like
That's so much
device
easier.
that you use is from 1922.
Oh,
Like,
Actually,
the thing
shout
is
out-
ancient.
Shout out to
Original
Tom
6.
Young. Tom Young at Northeastern. He does. He's been doing the scoreboard for years. He is a magician. That guy knows how to. It's the Daktronics, the flick buttons. So you just flick, flick, flick. He is awesome to work with. for
You sit right
Northeastern
next to
hockey.
him?
Yeah. So then, this year we have a little curtain between us, and he's on one side, and I'm on the other side. But
What's
I
his
can
name?
still
Tom
see it.
Young?
is it
Yeah,
Kurt?
Tom
It's
Young.
not. It's not like plexiglass.
No, I'll send you guys a picture of it.
Okay,
I'll be
because
there
Jeff, in the
Friday.
finals, we're going full Jim Nance, Tony Romo, and we're gonna sit 10 feet apart with this gigantic piece of glass in between us, and I'm just gonna knock on the window at you the entire
Hey,
time.
Neil, how are you? I want to say something to you. Oh, okay.
Go around.
Uh,
But obviously, only 2 games in the EHL this week. By the time we get back on this podcast next week, a lot more will have happened.
yeah, like 15 games or something.
Yes,
Earlier.
A
Holy
big stretch. So let's make our way into what to watch for in the fantasy challenge and update what's happened so far.
Before we wrap things up, here's what to watch for this week in the E-Show.
It's time for the E-Crew Fantasy Challenge, brought to you by Bertucci's Brick Oven Pizza and Pasta, your home for authentic Italian dishes, catering, and group dining. Check out their party pizzas and specials at bertucci's.com.
One thing that I tell everyone about working in this league is obviously there's a lot of guys that you work with, and they bust balls, and you have to be willing. Yes, and ladies, and you have to be willing to give it and take it. Right?
Right.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
God, I learned that
You
real
have
quick.
to.
And over the past
You have
couple
to.
weeks, especially this past week, we have really given it to Brittany about her Rangers fantasy squad. But there's one player from one team that she picked, and that's her only player from that team. And I don't understand how this happens. He already has 3 goals in 2 games.
I'd like to say thank
Aw,
you.
nice.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Fine. Lise, shout out your brother. I'm giving this pick all the credits to the brother because I knew who the brother was. So,
And I think,
word.
didn't we
John?
help her with this? Did we
Yeah.
like, Brit? She's like, who can I pick in the Jacks? Like, Paul Fine, Lisa, pretty good players, but they're, oh, okay.
I think I like half kind of figured it out myself. Just like a
yeah, it's
little
like
bit.
50-50.
Right. That's when I dished you whoever on accident. I told you to take someone, remember? And then you took them, and then I thought like I didn't need said whoever it was. Come on, somebody help me out.
Oh,
yeah, it
yes.
was one of
Wait,
the- it was
hold
a
up.
defenseman. Was that when we were
Nah.
ripping through our plethora of defensemen?
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you exactly who it is. Give me about.
We should have recorded that draft for like bloopers because there were some just prime moments in that.
Oh, the Baxay kid from the Hosses.
Oh, Lucas Baxa. Yes, that's right. You did tell me to take him. You're like, wait, I still
Right.
need another forward. Fudge.
Right, and then I was like, ew.
and
Oops.
and,
Tough.
and coming soon, the return of the Hosses.
The
Yes.
return of Giddy Up.
Colin Bell is ready to score 16 goals for Kyle in 2 seconds.
Colin Belafette. Let's go, buddy.
As long as they're all assisted by Tyler Bonapane, then we're good.
And Lucas Baxa.
Okay.
Okay. We're
All
in
right, so
here
you
now.
guys will be
Yo.
racking points.
Baxa to Bella to Bonapane.
Yes, they won't play.
Score.
They won't play before we record next, but they will play after that. That week
Ooh.
will feature 2 games against the 87s.
Guys,
Ooh,
they could
turn
be that could be a
up.
good line. The Killer Bees, B, Bonapane,
Ooh, I
Bella,
like it.
Baxe. What do you think? My man of nicknames, the Killer Bees.
Now, you know what's going to
Horrible.
happen is Stephen Brown's going to listen to this. And he's going to say, you should know who's on the line with them.
Yeah,
I
right.
want to say they put Patrick Doyle with them.
I don't know.
Doyle.
I think they put Doyle with them, but obviously they're together, Bella and Bonapane.
Right, old news.
Old news.
That's why one has 33 points and one has 34.
Absolutely.
But
Which one
One
has
of them,
more?
one of them was mid shift and getting off the ice. And
Right, they're
I was
like, ah.
Hey, dude, here's some sauce before I go. Oh, score.
when I was calling the Lumberjack Spartans game today, like there was one goal in there, and this kid was like, "I touched it! I touched it!
Oh my
I got
gosh,
this,
that
this."
guy
Dude,
really.
me
no.
scorekeeping
played with that
last
guy,
year.
too.
Dude, the kids would like
Sorry to
scream to
interrupt
me
you,
on the bench. They're like, "Should you get my assist?" And I'm like, "Your coach
Kyle,
is gonna
you
change
have,
it anyways. Sorella's gonna change every assist that I
Yeah.
have on the computer, so it don't matter."
Kyle, did you
Actually,
play with
that-
any guys that were like that?
Oh my gosh, at every level, like rec
They were really
league,
like, assist.
double A,
I got it.
triple A,
Oh my god!
you know, D2 club hockey was like the puck went off his skate and he's like, I got the assist. And it was like a guy who was like in the top 6. It's like, buddy, like we're all gonna go out afterwards anyway. Like we're gonna have a good time. Like relax. Like
Chill, bro. You don't need that assist to hang out with us and have a couple brews.
yeah, it's really not a big deal. And like at this point in time, like no one's really looking at you. But if you really want to have like that extra assist, go for it. Sorry.
Do it.
It's funny how timing works out, right? Like Brett tried to literally just send me all 9 of his goals today with the correct stats.
Oh.
I hope did 3-7 have any? Because right now you got a big goose egg from Jiwa. LOL.
What? Some names, new names popped up for Seacoast that I.
No
Haven't-
comment, Brittany.
No, I thought he had a goose egg.
Yeah.
Yep, he has 0 points. Some
He,
people
he
had.
had a point yesterday, Kyle.
Oh, congrats. Sorry.
all I
Hey,
gotta
look,
say is
survival of the fittest.
I'm kind of missing Clendenin and Stewart a little bit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he had a couple apples, right?
He's
Yeah,
like,
did-
He's got
Take-
4. He had 2
take
yesterday,
that,
2
Jeff.
today. I'm
Take
sorry,
right.
buddy.
Little Stuart
sorry.
Little.
He's a big boy. Please don't
Did
beat me
you-
up, Clendenin.
did you
He's
end up picking
huge.
Little, Kyle? Because I know you were thinking about
Oh,
it.
Connor Little. I think he did.
He didn't
I thought
pick
you
him,
did.
but
Oh.
you were thinking about
He
it.
scored today.
What's going to be really interesting?
Clendenin? I don't have Clendenin.
No,
Oh,
no,
Connor
no.
Little.
Connor Little. I thought you picked Connor Little.
Yes,
Never mind.
I believe I did.
They
Hold
were
on,
like
give me-
Cooper Board. Cooper Board's been hot the last 2 games
Well,
since I came.
I
in.
was like,
God.
these guys are putting up points for the Spartans today, and then I realized they're 3 players that they just acquired.
No,
That's
I
gone.
don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's why I was like,
Originally,
some of these
I
guys
I
have
have
have not
Connor Little right
recognized.
now. No.
No, I was.
The
but you-
dad's verified on Twitter. Is that good?
Yes, he's a
That
news
is
anchor.
good. That's good for the brand too.
Him and I coordinated when I felt the earthquake when I was on Cape Cod.
Oh,
I'm not joking. He like reported it, and I was like, yeah, I just felt that. Like I just woke up at 10 a.m. and felt the earthquake.
Like,
not a big
thanks for
deal.
the
that's pretty
news.
cool.
You guys didn't feel the earthquake back
We
then?
were a trusted source. No, I did. Me and Christina were asleep, and I thought it was just like a big truck driving by our house or something.
Yeah, it sounded like a truck that fell from the sky and lands
Yeah.
on the ground in front of you, and you're like, okay, this is my 3rd earthquake in like the last 3 months. I was like, I'm just gonna go back to sleep for 10 minutes, and
Yeah, I can't say I felt one in New Hampshire.
I didn't either. And then my
It was
mom was
more
like,
down
"You
south.
didn't feel the thing," and I'm like,
I'm
"No."
sure Zanaboni felt it.
Yeah, actually, because I think it was Southern Mass and Rhode Island. Like it was where,
Cape Cod.
yeah.
He creates an earthquake when he yells at his team.
Yes, he does.
Oh my God. Oh, see, that's the only
Wow, that's
reason
a new
why I
one.
need to frequent
That's
a
a new
Seahawks
one.
game. Is to
Tape
just
to tape.
watch a
Tape
Bill.
to effing tape.
Seriously. And then he's like, on the bench.
Dude, hey
Right.
Neil, did
Oh,
Cooper
love
Board
him.
have the Gordie Howe hat trick today? He had 2 goals and an assist, 12 pims.
Close. Close.
okay.
Close.
Close.
That's a good day for
What do we
everybody,
call
huh?
that one? Not
3
the Gordie
points
Howe.
and a 12 minutes of penalty minutes. Wow, 3
E-crew,
points.
E-crew hat trick. There you go.
It's all right. You know
Special.
what? Did anybody who is not Neil Ravin know the highest number of PIMs for a single player today?
Oh, 22?
It's 32.
Whoa.
Oh, does that get you? Does that get you a suspension or no? It's got to be 50.
Well, probably depends on the penalty. That'll go to Ken Hodge. Ken Hodge Jr. the
Dude,
district
Ken
attorney.
Hodge is gonna be pissed off tonight after he looks at this box score. He's got a lot of work ahead of him.
Him and
So-
Gino gonna be sitting down. Gino Binda and Kenny gonna.
Oh yeah, Mr. 32 minutes game misconduct. 2 game misconducts. Nice.
It took me a while to finish live scoring that because the rink was so cold that
Ooh.
at about 25% of my iPad, it just died.
Oh.
And then I was
Yeah,
like,
just stop.
you know, like the annoying thing about Apple is like you have to then get plugged back in to get it to turn on. But like every outlet I tried at the rink, it was like not enough power. So then I sat in the car for the whole way home and I had it plugged in. Never turned on. Plugged it in, and when I got home, within like 3 seconds, like the light pops up. I'm like, oh my God. So everyone's like, Neil, what are you doing? It only says 4-3. What was the final score? Well, 9-5. So I got to get to those. Like,
Okay, so now I feel like when we were talking before, I'm like, what? 9-5?
Yeah, it
I'm
said-
pretty sure it was 4-3.
it said 4-3, but that's because I couldn't finish the third
Got
period.
it.
It was so cold. My iPad was like malfunctioning.
Your iPad's like, I'm out.
Dude, that's what
Wow,
happens to
I
my
don't
phone
like
at the
it.
BIC when I leave it on the desk for too long.
Mm.
The worst
Oh,
is when
yeah,
you
Vic's
used to
real
just
cool.
leave your stuff in the lobby at the Wizards, like phone,
Me?
backpack, everything. Just leave it right on
Yeah.
the table and like walk away. I'm like, your stuff is right there.
Right.
Thousands of
You know,
dollars. in
I feel
stuff.
like you have said this to me like more that, or maybe it's my mom. It's probably both. That like sometimes I just need to
Nina.
care a little bit more about anything. Like I am like the definition of give no beeps. Like couldn't care less if I tried. That's
Did you-
me.
Yeah,
Did you-
give
did
no
you like,
pepperonis, it's okay.
Yeah. Did you like your goal horn in the podcast last week?
Oh, that was
Dude.
awesome.
I was crying. laughing. The amount of people I've like sent that thing that you sent in the text. I
Oh,
was
God.
like, everyone,
God.
please.
So to recap where we're at in total
Also, my
points,
bruise from when I ran into something last week is still not gone.
was that
that was-
live on the podcast?
I don't know.
It may have been when you were searching for your championship rings.
Right. And then I just like whacked into my dresser, but that bruise was like black and it's still not gone. So
I'm
I
glad
got
we all
battle wounds from the
grasped
last
it, too.
pod.
We were like, is that your leg? Is your armpit? What the heck?
The angle is tough.
Oh, it's next to my knee.
So to recap the totals before
Yeah,
we begin
sorry.
a busy week, Jeff is at 448.8, Brittany's at 392.2, Kyle 362.0, and myself 361.2. That doesn't include what took place the past 2 days. I think we all have 3 or so points. I know Brittany's got 3 goals or whatever, but a whole slew
Cross
of
the 400
games.
mark.
Yes, a whole slew of games coming up between now and when we record next. And maybe the standings will be actually flipped, Kyle, not just in the graphic. So I hope everyone enjoys the games this week. Hockey is back, and I think almost all of our teams play, but I think it's after the next podcast, everyone will have at least played at least one time. So hockey is back. I'm pumped about it. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Thanks for listening to The E Show. Learn more at easternhockeyleague.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, be sure to subscribe and get notified when next week's podcast is released.